We begin tonight with breaking news. A local doctor is dead after he and his guide were murdered on a fishing trip in Belize.
Gary Swank was a cardiologist at Roanoke Memorial Hospital and an associate professor at the Virginia Tech Carilion School of Medicine.
10 News reporter Shane Dwyer is live tonight outside the hospital with the late-breaking details. Shane?
Lindsay and John, since we first brought you this story as breaking news at 5, we have learned that local media there in Belize are reporting that police believe this may have actually been a hit on the guide there in San Pedro, and that they believe that because his house had been shot up a few days prior to that. Now, we've just received a statement from Congressman Ben Klein's office. He says he is shocked and saddened by the death of Gary Swank. I ask all Virginians to remember Dr. Swank's wife and children as they deal with this unthinkable tragedy. My office stands ready to assist Dr. Swank's family in the coming days. Now, Carilion Clinic gave us this photo of Dr. Swank, and they tell us they are heartbroken and that Dr. Swank was well respected and well loved here at work. San Pedro is a small, remote area of Belize in Central America. It's a beach town popular with divers and anglers, and Dr. Swank's LinkedIn page made it clear that he was an avid fisherman. His profile picture on LinkedIn shows him in a stream with fishing gear and proud of his catch. Swank's guide, Mario Grinnell, he ran the operation there locally in the area. The Belize Game Fish Conservation Network posted this on Facebook, saying Grinnell was a big part of the fishing community down there. Police believe that around 10 Sunday morning, the two were fly fishing when another boat came by and shot them dead. The police say that they found Swank about 10 yards away from the boat, face down in a lagoon, and that the guide was found in the boat, both of their bodies riddled with gunshot wounds. Now, the U.S. State Department says that most of the crimes there remain unsolved and unprosecuted. It's part of the reason they issued a level 2 travel advisory as of January. That's on a 1 to 4 ranking, with 4 being do not travel. They say there's an increase in violent crime and warn that Americans traveling there should use increased caution. We are still waiting to hear back from the State Department on this murder. I've also spoken with the Belize consulate in Washington, D.C. this evening. They offer their condolences, but say they need to do a little bit more research into this situation before they're able to offer up an official comment. Live in Roanoke, Shane Dwyer, 10 News, working for you.